To build the garden tool shed, start by building the floor system and skids. Do this by cutting two 4x4 by 7 foot 8-inch skids. Be sure to place a bevel at both ends of the skid. Then cut two 2x4 by 7 foot rim joists and 7 2x4 by 3 foot 3-inch floor joists. Mark the location of the floor joists on the rim joists. Use a 16-inch center layout and follow the framing plan. Assemble the framing for the floor system. Be sure to place the floor joists 16 inches apart as per the layout. Nail the rim joist to the floor joist using 16-penny hot-dipped galvanized nails. Nail through the rim joist into the floor joist, placing 2 nails at each floor joist. Place the flooring system on the skids. Be sure to center the floor system and align the outside face of the rim joists with the outside face of the skids. Secure the floor system to the skids with 6 hurricane ties. Cut the treated plywood piece so that it is 7 feet long and 3 feet 6 inches wide. Place the plywood onto the floor system and fasten it in place using 6-penny galvanized nails. To build the rear wall, start by cutting two 2x3 by 7 foot boards for the top and bottom plates. Starting from the center of the plate, lay out the locations of the studs on the plates using 16-inch on center spacing. Cut 7 2x3 by 6 foot 3-inch long wall studs for the rear wall. Assemble the wall frame by placing the wall studs between the top and bottom plates on layout. Fasten the wall studs to the plates with 16 galvanized nails using 2 nails per wall stud. Cut a sheet of siding to a width of 3 feet 6 inches, measuring from the tongue edge of the sheet. Align the cut edge of the sheet with the ends of the top and bottom plates. Be sure to leave a 2-inch overhang past the bottom plate. Fasten the sheet to the face of the wall frame with 6-penny galvanized nails. Cut a second sheet for the remaining portion of the rear wall and fasten it to the wall frame. Be sure to leave the same 2-inch overhang past the bottom plate. Measure 6 feet 10 inches from the bottom of the siding and place a mark. Do the same for the other side of the siding. Establish the center point on the top edge of the siding. Then, snap a chalk line from one of the marks to the center point. Now, snap a chalk line from the mark on the other side to the center point. Cut the siding along the chalk lines with a circular saw. This creates the rear wall. To build the front wall, first cut two 2x3 by 7 foot boards for the top and bottom plates. Lay out the plates, centering a 4-foot door opening with double 2x3s at each side of the door opening and a 2x3 stud at each end. Cut 6 wall studs 6 feet 3 inches long. Assemble the wall frame by placing the wall studs between the top and bottom plates on layout. Fasten the wall studs to the plates with 16-penny galvanized nails using 2 nails per wall stud. Cut a sheet of siding to a width of 3 feet 6 inches, measuring from the tongue edge of the sheet. Align the cut edge of the sheet with the ends of the top and bottom plates. Be sure to leave a 2-inch overhang past the bottom plate. Fasten the sheet to the face of the wall frame with 6-penny galvanized nails. Do not fasten the siding to the bottom plate where the door will be located. Snap a chalk line through the marks made to lay out the cut line for the edge of the door in this sheet. Measure the dimension from the bottom of the siding to the bottom edge of the top plate. and transfer that dimension to the cut line. Measure from the chalk line to the edge of the exposed door stud at the top and bottom plates. Note this dimension for later use. Cut a second sheet for the remaining portion of the front wall and fasten it to the wall frame. Be sure to leave the same 2-inch overhang past the bottom plate. Fasten the sheet to the face of the wall frame with 6-penny galvanized nails. Do not fasten the siding to the bottom plate where the door will be located. Lay out the second door cut line using the dimensions measured earlier. Then, snap a chalk line through the marks at the top of the door opening. Measure up 6 feet 10 inches from the bottom of the siding along each cut end of the wall and place a mark. Establish the center point of the top edge of the siding and then mark cut lines from the marks made along the sides to the center point. Adjust the circular saw to a depth that will cut the siding but no deeper. Cut the door panels by making a saw cut through the overlap of both sheets of siding. Go from the bottom of the sheet to the top door cut line. Then, cut across the top of the door opening along the cut line. Now, cut the top of the siding on the cut lines laid out. Keep the panels that have been cut. Label them and mark the top plate with matching marks to identify which side the panel was cut from. This creates the front wall. To build the end walls, first cut 4 2 by 3 by 3 foot 1 inch boards to use as the top and bottom plates. Then, cut 6 2 by 3 by 6 foot 3 inch wall studs. Assemble the wall frame by placing the wall studs between the top and bottom plates on layout. Fasten the wall studs to the plates with 16-penny galvanized nails, using 2 nails per wall stud. Cut the sheets of siding to 3 feet 6 inches wide by 6 feet 8 inches high. Center the siding on the wall frame so that there is an equal distance on each side. Be sure to align the top and bottom edges with the wall frame. Fasten the siding to the frame with 6-penny galvanized nails. Repeat this process to create the other end wall. Stand the rear wall on the door floor system. Be sure to align the ends of the wall with the ends of the floor system and temporarily support the wall. Press the bottom edge of the rear wall panel against the rim joist and fasten the siding to the rim joist with 6-penny galvanized nails. Nail the bottom plate through the treated plywood into the floor joist with 16-penny galvanized nails. Stand the end wall on the floor system while continuing to temporarily support the rear wall. Position the end wall so that the bottom plate is against the end of the stud of the rear wall. Press the bottom edge of the rear wall panel against the rim joist and fasten the siding to the rim joist with 6-penny galvanized nails. Nail the bottom plate through the treated plywood into the floor joist with 16-penny galvanized nails. Nail 16-penny galvanized nails through the end stud of the end wall into the end stud of the rear wall. Be sure to maintain the contact of the siding for the 2 walls. Nail the edge of the overlapping siding to the end stud of the rear wall with 6-penny galvanized nails. Attach the other end wall in the same way as the first and remove the temporary brace from the rear wall. Stand the front wall on the floor system. Make sure the ends of the wall are flush with the ends of the floor system. Nail the bottom plate to the floor joists with 16-penny galvanized nails. Do not nail the bottom plate at the door opening. Nail through the end studs of the end walls into the end studs of the front wall with 16-penny galvanized nails. Be sure to maintain the contact of the siding for the 2 walls. Use a handsaw to cut and remove the bottom plate at the door opening. To cut and assemble the roof trusses, start by laying out and cutting a top cord pattern for the truss and then using the pattern to cut 9 more top cords. Set 4 of the cords aside to be used as fly rafters. Lay out and cut a pattern for the bottom cord of the truss and then use the pattern to cut 2 more bottom cords. Cut 1 gusset for the joint at the bottom cord of the truss as a pattern and then use that pattern to cut 2 more bottom cord gussets. Position 2 top cords and 1 bottom cord and nail them together. Position the gussets in place on the cords. Use 6-penny galvanized nails to fasten the gussets to the cords. Repeat these steps to construct the 2 remaining trusses. To set the trusses and fly rafters, start by centering a truss on top of the front wall. Make sure the gussets are facing inward and the top and bottom cords are firmly against the siding. Fasten the truss through the siding with 6-penny galvanized nails. Then, toe nail the bottom cord to the top plate with 8-penny galvanized sinkers. Center a truss on the rear wall and fasten it in the same manner. Cut a temporary spreader 3 feet 10 inches long and lay it out on the dimensions shown in the prints. Place the temporary spreader in top of the garden tool shed on the trusses. Make sure one end of the spreader is flush to the siding on the rear truss. Temporarily attach the spreader to the front and rear trusses at the ridge. Center the third truss on the end walls. Place a straight edge against the tails of the front and rear trusses and use it to align the tail of the center truss. Tack the third truss to the temporary spreader and then toe nail the truss to the top plates with 8-penny galvanized sinkers. Cut 2 2x4 by 3 foot 10 inch subfascia boards and attach them to the top cord tails on each side of the truss with 16-penny galvanized sinkers. Position 1 fly rafter against the back side of the subfascia and against the underside of the temporary spreader. Fasten the fly rafter through the subfascia with 16-penny galvanized sinkers. Temporarily fasten the fly rafter to the spreader at the top with 8-penny sinkers. To cut and install the roof sheathing, first measure the distance from the face of the subfascia to the ridge line of the truss along the top edge of the truss. Cut 2 pieces of 1/2 inch OSB to 3 feet 10 inches long and to the width measured. Then, align the bottom edge of the sheet on the side opposite the spreader with the vertical face of the subfascia and flush to the outside edge of the siding on the rear of the shed. Fasten the sheathing to the top cord tails with 6-penny galvanized sinkers. Then, nail it to the remaining trusses with the 6-penny sinkers. Remove the temporary spreader and install the other side of the roof. To make and install the doors, measure the length and width of one labeled door panel. Make the width of the door frame 1/8 of an inch narrower than the width of the panel and 2 1/4 inches shorter than the length. Fasten the frame together with 16-penny galvanized sinkers. Place the door panel on the assembled frame. Align the top edge of the panel with the top edge of the frame and the hinge side of the panel with the hinge side of the frame. Then, fasten the panel to the frame with galvanized nails placed 4 inches on center. Repeat the steps for the other panel. Attach 2 strap hinges to each door. Place a 1/4 inch shim on the shed floor at the door opening and position the door in the opening. Adjust the door to maintain a 1/8 inch gap on the top and side of the door. Secure the hinge through the siding into the double stud of the door opening. Repeat these steps to install the other door. Center and install the hasp. The final step to building the garden tool shed is to install the cane bolt on the inside of the door to keep the door closed.